How are we all doing?
Invincible.
Round 2 into Lagos then. Last week at Sardegna we did have 2 very good, interesting and somewhat controversial, if that's your word. So you can probably hear the GT Sport intro playing in the background. I'll just mute that. That was in the GT3 cars. We switch over now to the GT4 machinery, so a little less powerful, a little more familiar to what you're used to in terms of your street cars, and of course you'll probably see that the strengths and weaknesses vary a lot more in the GT3 cars, especially at a track like Interlagos, which is much more about tyre wear and handling rather than overall top grunt. Mark Bramford, good evening. I'm actually secretly expecting your little Lexus to do quite well here. I remember the GT4 Lexus did go quite well at Interlagos. We will of course see. Faction quiet. Right, let me turn you up. Give me just a sec, mate. Turn you up. Right. I'm maxed out, dude. That is the loudest it goes. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I can turn like game music and shit down if I need to, so we can always do that. Hello, I got my webcam working. I don't know what broke on it, but I literally unplugged it. I sent an email to the people that make it, and I was like, "What's going on?" Because this thing does not work now. And then I came back onto my PC and it just started suddenly working. So, but we can hide me quite easily, just like that. There we go. Is that better? Cool. Keep me posted, Mark, mate, and let me know, because it's volume is an ever-present worry on these streams, because I can never really tell how it is. So what we're looking at here, I guess, is last week's results. I do have all this week's in here. The standings are there. Obviously, we'll look at those afterwards. But last week, it was all about Faruqi and his rampant race 1 and his very, very interesting race 2. Hiracrom's a close second. He got fastest lap and P2 overall. We got fastest lap in race 1. And then Tommy Concrete, who had a very, very unfortunate set of races, but fought back. So I'm expecting big things from Tommy Concrete. Especially in his Citroen, and that thing launches off the line. So him and Dart Clark are going to get really good starts. Who else have we got to watch out for? Total Rose had a very good time out last week. What car is he in? I want to say he's in a Viper. Yeah, he's in the Viper, which isn't a bad GT4 car. Bobby will be looking for much bigger and better things. He's in the Lexus alongside Hiracrom. And then I'll be eagerly watching Richie and V-Show in their Subarus, because that is a much better GR4 car than it is a GR3 car. but we will of course see the Ferraris. Of course, James and Dave, their Group 4 cars are also very, 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 very good. So, without further ado, let's get you into the game. Let's actually get looking at GT Sport. So, yeah, this is the feature race. So you remember last week we had it the other way around because it's the first week. So they did qualifying, then something. They basically did it a different way around. But today we jump straight into a feature race, and then we're going to have a sprint race after this, which will set the grid for next week's round. So we're straight into the full 40-minute feature race here. All drivers have to make a pit stop. They have to run 2 compounds of tyre. You have to run at least 3 laps on that tyre, and yeah, this is where the strategy will come into play. So let's have a watch. Mark, do keep me posted on volume. Do let me know how it is. 1 minute. Wait, what? It's sprint first still, is it? Oh, right, okay. What? Why then? Why is it sprint first? Okay. So let me come out of here then. We did the sprint first. What? No, that's not how it goes last season. By the way, I couldn't find the replays, so I had to go proper hunting for them. So you're going to watch me do that now. Why is that then, boys? Because I thought you did the I thought you did the feature first, then the sprint. Fair enough. So it'll be this one. Sprint. Let's get that loaded up. It's the other way around. Fair enough. Okay, sprint first then. It don't matter to me, but I just didn't know. So yeah, make this up as we go along, I guess. Rules changed. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. So sprint is reverse grid from the previous round. So then I'm guessing the results of the sprint is going to set the grid for the feature, yeah? Right, cool. Okay. I mean, that's fine, like, but I just didn't know. I didn't know, so my bad. So we've got Clark in the chat, we've got Toby in the chat, we've got V-Show in the chat. See if we can get a couple more. While we're waiting for this, let's have some lo-fi girl on. Getting adverts. Skip that. Let's get some music on the go, shall we? Yeah, get some tunes going. You might be able to hear that. Saved your skin, mate. Turn you back down. There we go. Right, so sprint race first. Alright, so it's loaded. So is it still a 15-minute? 15-minute sprint? I've slept since last week. Cheers, Clarky, mate. Yeah, just let me know once the engines start going. Like it'll sound a little bit different. It's only because I got lo-fi girl on in the background, nice and quiet. So let me know. There we go. Let's get you turned off. 15 minutes, sweet. Right, so here's the grid then. Reverse grid results from last week. Right, so of course we're going to be getting away with the Ferraris then of James and Infinite Graphics. 1-2, very short run here down to turn 1. 15 minutes, thank you boys. Watch out for the Subarus and the Citroens, they fly off the line in Group 4 form. As you see, Richie there gets away well, so does V-Show, immediately past LFC fan. The Citroens down at the back, of course, in this reverse grid are going to be fighting the way through. You can see in the background there already starting to try to make waves. but it looks like everyone is through turn 1 alive and well. Oh, nearly alive and well as we see P1 Don nearly get it wrong. We do have a replay. Let's have a look at P1 Don, just see what goes on. Oh, so P1 Don nudges the back of Tommy Concrete, and then gets the back end all out of shape. Nudges Fabuki, but everyone manages to escape that one. Relatively intact. Is Infinity Graphics leading the way though? James Harbin P2, Fat Pickles Bro P3, fighting away with GTP Toby there in the McLaren. You got V-Show P5 as well, looking for a move down the inside. GTP Toby just about hanging on there in the McLaren. That McLaren does hang on quite nicely. The Mercedes in Group 4 format, if it's anything like it was for me last season, is an absolute boat in Group 4. It's an awful car to drive. And round a circuit like this, well, as Dark Clark gets it wrong there in the background. I want to say he just got a nudge of opposite lock there and had to try and catch it. Let's have a look at what happened to him. It's down the inside of LFC fan. Yeah, just gets, it looks like anyway the back end just stepped out. So let's put him down to P15 then. What other movers and shakers have we got? Don't forget this is reverse grid, so in theory we've got the faster drivers working their way from the back of the grid, and they've only got 15 minutes in which to do it. No pit stops of course needed for this race. It is a straight sprint to the line. However many laps we get in for 15 minutes is however many laps we get. So the drivers all of course opt in to take the softest compounder tyre available. In theory they should still have pretty good grip on that at the end of the session, as the two Lexuses then finally make their way into the top 10. Bobby there using the light flashes to good effect as he's going to let his teammate through there. So Hirocron with a nice and easy move up to P9. Of course, with these reverse grid races, you just want to make your way to the front as quickly as possible. As the two Ferraris do still lead the way. Fat Pickles Bro, he's starting to fall down now. He's coming under pressure from the Lexus pairing, and also gets out of the way of a McLaren as well by the looks of things. Fat Pickles Bro not having a great day of it. What else have we got going on? We've got Fabuki in P11 and trying to make his way through this pack as well. That Corvette, another car that in Group 4 format isn't fantastic. It's a bit front heavy, doesn't like the corners. And then Mental Nev, we haven't mentioned Mental Nev yet, but he's stuck right at the back of all this. You got a bit of a nudge. Oh, fair enough, I didn't see it. Mental Nev, another Mercedes, will be struggling in Group 4 format. The two Ferraris starting to come under a little bit of pressure then from Toby. Toby, who's got a 1 second penalty. And correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but you have to burn those off in 2 laps time. So Toby will have to get rid of that. He can do it during the race, so whether it naturally burns itself away, but from memory it doesn't do that very well here at Interlagos. V-Show, he's making a great game of it at the moment. Up P4, that Subaru that starts very well. Tommy Concrete also doing nicely. Richie, V-Show's teammate, is up there in P5. But LFC fan having to defend here to Hirocron. Hirocron's looking to make moves through the field, and this is a band we've commented on a lot over the years. I don't seem to have full keyboard controls, so as James Harbin loses a position there to Toby. Yeah, I don't seem to have full keyboard control, so I can't look back unless I do this. Yeah, I can do that, so I can manually override it still. We do have some control, ladies and gents. So this sprint race, the first sort of 5 minutes is all about just figuring your position in the pack. So your Hirocrons and your Bobbies of the world will want to try and fight their way forward. There's still a lot of fast drivers stuck down at the bottom of the grid. 3 laps into this one. We're about a third of the way through already. The results of this will set the grid for the feature race, which we'll go and load into. And then yeah, I guess we'll see what the feature race has in store. A lot more strategy in the feature race though. Very easy to get stuck in trains here at Interlagos. You can overtake it, as GTP Toby I think is about to show us as he throws one down the inside there in that McLaren. A nice move done. Tries to get a little bit of that penalty. Infinity Graphics is going to come straight back at him though. The Ferrari is just going to be trying to, well, Toby's going to try and show him the door on the exit, but the Ferrari's got decent power in a straight line. Has the inside line then for turn 4. James Harben's getting involved as well. They're going to be 3 wide then coming into turn 4. Is James going to max Verstappen Toby to the outside? Toby actually ghosts a little bit, which is his saviour. It means he doesn't end up getting a nudge, but this top 6 group then, all really close and tight knitted. We've got 2 Ferraris, we've got a McLaren, we've got 2 Subarus in there as well, and a Rogue Citroen coming up behind. But it is Toby still leading the way. V-Show with the opportunistic move then through turn 5 takes both Ferraris in one. I think he did that. Let's go back and have a look at that. Oh no, we'd already got James Harben. Yeah, he'd already got James, so just threw it down the inside of Infinity Graphics. And was able to reclaim, to claim P2 on the road. Rich is trying to fight his way through. Rich's problem though is he's got Tommy Concrete there. And Tommy Concrete is, as we saw last week, a very accomplished driver. Gets that Citroen all sideways though. That is going to give Hiracrom an opportunity then. The Lexus driver with that powerful V8 Lexus engine, I'm pretty sure it's a V8, can get a run then on the Citroen. And indeed is ahead before the braking zone for turn 1. Hiracrom's also going to try and get James Harben. Wish the camera angle would change. Can Hiracrom get that done? James isn't going to put up too much of a fight there. The Ferrari's now starting just to fall back a little bit. This is the alien lobby. This is the top lobby, of course. The fastest drivers find their way in here as GTP, TLB and V-Show now start to pull away from the pack at the front. You've got Richie now, P3. Infinity Graphics are down the inside though at turn 4, so a good move from the Ferrari. So the Ferrari now back up to P3. Hiracrom's been nudged down to P6. Bobby's in there as well. And then you got Fabuki and LFC Fan just about trying to catch up to this pack. Then this front pack's starting to bunch up again now. The top 2 have started to peel away. But third to, I'd say, sort of 10th now is all in one close proximity. And then you got the American Shell Shock in the American Barge. Dark Light, they're using the lights just to try and put the American off his stride. P1 Don 13th, Mental Nev up a position then to 14th, Total Rose 15th. We have lost a driver somewhere. Who's left? Who has gone? Hiracrom though. Where's Hiracrom come from? He was... Oh, he must have got that move made halfway through the lap. Sorry Hiracrom, I missed that. Hiracrom then up to P3, fastest lap of the race so far as well, a 37.5. I dare say that may get beaten as the fuel burns away, but we'll see. That does seem to be quite a good lap as Tommy Concrete now gets rid of that penalty. And now down to P7, fell behind Richie there as Bobby's trying to rear gunner for Hiracrom as much as he can. The Minister of Defence that is Bobby will have to put up a fight here against Richie just to help Hiracrom out. And tries to go on attack then against Infinity Graphics and the Ferrari. Turn 4 is where you'll see a lot of these penalties get dished out, by the way. That's you really need to be careful of your braking zone down there because you will get caught out quite easily. Bobby then up the inside of Infinity Graphics, but Infinity Graphics is going to try and hold it round the outside. The Ferrari is doing a very good job of that. Great defensive driving then by Infinity Graphics in the Ferrari. Keeps hold of that P4 position. Oh, in fact, no, he doesn't, because he's cooked it, unfortunately. So what happened to Dave here? Oh, he just went on the not so grippy stuff, and unfortunately then just had to wait for a lot of the drivers to resume, and resumes unfortunately in dead last position. Still very congested here then. There's a lot of movements going on. Total Rose, another driver that's been victim of the I'm guessing the turn 4 penalty chaos. So as we're nearly 2/3 of the way through, let's have a little bit of a recap. V-Show's got himself in the lead. I apologise, kiddo, I didn't see that happen as GTP Toby takes that lead back off him. It's going to be a fight then between these two very different cars, two very different driving principles, but you can see they're separated by milliseconds then on track. So let's just have a quick run through the field. So we've got GTP Toby leading the way ahead of V-Show. Then in P3 you've got Heracram in the Lexus. Tommy Concrete then up to P4. So he's had a blinder of it. What's happened to Tommy Concrete? Right, I actually need to come back and have a look at this because he was like 8th. Oh, he just took advantage of all that carnage. This is where he got all the moves made, look. So he just took advantage. This was a lap ago. Yeah, so great driving then from Tommy Concrete. Let's skip forward a little bit. So Tommy Concrete then on the outside of Bobby through turn 1. So he's then up to P4, but something tells me Bobby's not going to let that one lie as he comes back for the attack then into turn 4. If you can force him to go narrow, he'll have to scrub off a lot of speed to make the corner, but Tommy Concrete does keep that position. So it's Bobby then in P5. Richie P6. Bobby though with a great run out of turn 4. Tommy will try and keep that position into turn 5, but it's Richie will be licking his lips at the prospect of some free position. In fact, does position his car deep on the inside. Uses the apex to get the car turned, and Bobby is just about fighting that one off. Bobby actually picks up Richie picks up a second's worth of penalty there, no doubt just for that little bit of an apex cut he did just before. So he's got another 2 laps to get rid of that. Fabuki's starting to join the party. P7 for Fabuki, P8 for James Harben, 9th for Dark Clark at the moment, with LFC Fan in 10th. Shell Shock in 11th with P1 on 12th, Mental Nev in 13th place, Total Rose 14th, and Infinity Graphics 15th for the time being. But that will give him a lot of work to do in the feature race unless he can overcome that. So the leader's starting to stretch their advantage a little bit. Heracram in a prime position now to try and pick these guys off if they carry on fighting like they are. So Toby and V-Show aren't going to work together because there's only 3 minutes left. So they are going to fight now. Heracram's got to try and push up to the back of those. Tommy Concrete then still winning in the battle with Bobby. Another couple of laps left if he wants to do something about it. Fabuki then going very wide, but has picked up an extra position than what we saw before. Dark Clark also picking off James Harben's Ferrari. James is going to try and hang it round the inside. In fact, does keep that nice and tidy. Dark Clark's going to try and hang it round the outside, but James at the inside line. Does he just concede? No, he doesn't. But Dark Clark just able to hold it round the outside. Some very good driving there from the Citroen driver to get that move made round the outside, and he goes up to P7. James with an agricultural line then. Richie's fell down the order. What's happened to Richie? Richie's had a bit of a shocker. He's down in P7. Oh, he's going to be going up now. James Harben's taking the Kimi Raikkonen line, where you basically get lost. So what happened here? Did he? Yeah, he just got lost, didn't he? So unfortunately for the Ferraris, not a great race for those guys so far. Lots of work to do in race 2 for them. But back at the front, it's still Toby and V-Show fighting the way. Probably looking at the penultimate lap, this one, looking at the time remaining, a minute 20. So dare say we'll get another lap out of these. So who's been managing tyres? This will give us an idea as to who's going to be vulnerable in the feature race. They do mostly seem to be pretty even, it has to be said. Probably the Ferrari's using a little bit more than everybody else. But they've had to be on the defence all race long, so that will use a little bit more tyre than everyone else has been doing. Everyone should get, I say everyone actually, we're looking at maybe not everyone will get another lap in, so let's just keep an eye on these leaders then as they come across the start finish line to potentially start their last lap. So yeah, 25 seconds off. So these guys will definitely get across. So will Hirakram, who hasn't managed to close in on them as quickly as he'd have hoped. Toby and Visho have managed to lap in the 38s. Hirakram's peeking into those times now. So who is going to finish this one? Tommy Concrete should get across. Yes, he will. Bobby will. Fabuki will. Dark Clark will. It's going to be LFC Fan finishing 8. Richie 9th in the end for Richie. He's going to be disappointed with that. Then P1 Don 10th in the end. A good result there for P1 Don considering he was 13th near the start. Mental Never, great drive in that boat of a Mercedes. Then Shell Shock 12th. James Harben 13th. Total Rose 14th. Splitting the two Ferraris of Infinity Graphics and James Harben. Toby then just a handful of corners left to defend against Visho's rampaging Subaru. Fabuki just about holding off Bobby and Dark Clark. Dark Clark the last one to get onto this 10th lap. But at the moment it's the battle then between Toby and Visho. Closed up, made a mistake. Fair enough, that's fine. P3 still decent though. Hirakram, it's still good points. And a podium. Of course the sprint race not worth as many points as the feature. But still well worth getting yourself up there because this sets the grid. This is basically qualifying. It's qualifying but with race points awarded essentially. So it looks to be getting pretty tight at the back. In fact, we're going to just rewind because there has been a move made near the back of the grid. Let's jump on board with Dark Clark. Oh, it's Bobby that got it wrong and hits Fabuki. Dark Clark couldn't take advantage of that, but Bobby just... So Dark Clark's trying to force this issue. We'll go back and have a watch of everybody, but I do want to let's go back and watch. In fact, let's... Oh, for fuck's sake. Right. I didn't realise it did that. This is what I don't like about... This is why I don't like commentating from replays, James, because it does that. It just shuts down, and I really wanted to watch that. So now, what I'm going to have to do is load it up again and just watch it because it looked like a good little battle. This is why I don't like doing that. So yeah, the sprint race then. We'll have a run through of the results in a moment. But I'm just going to have to absolutely fly through this. So let's give you a low-fi girl back. No, I'm alright, mate. I'm fine. I'm good. I don't want to be financially free. I like being in debt. There we go. Right. Let's give you some. Let's give you some music while I skip through this. Because I really want to watch that last lap. That's all I want to do. Last lap. Ba 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 ba. Alright. Low Fargo can shut up now. Let's watch this. So, last lap then of the sprint race, I think. No, it isn't actually. They're going to get one more in after this. So let's watch. Here we go. Yeah. Let's just watch as we would Toby V-Show, then it's Hirokram P3, Tommy Concrete 4th, Bobby and Fubuki. Fubuki goes for an absolute send then down into T1. Bobby's not going to like that. Bobby's going to want his revenge. Then we've got Dark Clark at the back of this little pack. Everyone else is finished and is just rolling around now because they hit the finish line after the time had elapsed. It's still Fubuki leading this little pack. We do know though in a moment, because we have looked into our crystal ball, we know Bobby loses it in a moment. So what we can do is preemptively jump on board with Bobby and just see what happens. We see Dark Clark pushing him all the way. So you're running out of overtaking opportunities really into the penultimate corner. I think it's junk out is the only way you can really go about it. So looking on board Bobby then. Worn tyres at this point. That front light's took an absolute beating. Of course there's a passenger at this point, so it does hit Fubuki. And then it is a drag race to the line. So what we're going to do, we're just going to rewind a second and we'll go and cover these boys finishing, and then by the time these boys are finished, we'll be able to watch the Fubuki Bobby Dark Clark drama all over again. So Toby wins the sprint race, round 2 here at Interlagos. He's got pole position for the feature race. Then you got V-Show finishing P2. Hirokram's going to grab 3rd, Tommy Concrete 4th, and then, so as not to spoil it, let's go back and watch this. So it's Bobby in 5th, Fubuki 6th. Dark Clark though has the overspeed on both of them in P7. It's going to be 3 wide across the line. Fubuki just about nudging it. It's literally too close to call. It's Fubuki, it's Dark Clark. Bobby's backed out of it. And it was Fubuki in the end that got that. Bobby, I think, felt potentially like his little bit of contact there was the reason. We're going to get another advert. Here we go. Just piss off of your adverts, YouTube, honestly. And I'm not paying for premium. I absolutely just despise doing that. So let's actually use this opportunity. Let's use this opportunity, chat, and let's promote something good, shall we? So, is it this one? Yeah, it is. Try and do something good for the world. So, Evelyn's big shop is nearing on. Now we're over halfway to what we want to get to. So we want to get this to 400 quid. I'm just going to get this loading up. Give me just a second. So we want to get this to 400 quid. But this is for Little Princess Trust. So if you haven't heard of Little Princess Trust before, essentially what happens is if there's a young girl that has any sort of illness where they lose their hair, so cancer, radiotherapy, chemotherapy is obviously a very obvious one, but there's alopecia as well, leukemia of course, and if they for any reason lose their hair, and to a young girl, and I'm a dad to an 8-year-old, so I know this, they love their hair. Losing it's a big deal. So Little Princess Trust, what they do is they provide wigs to children with cancer. It just restores, gives them a little bit of identity. So Evelyn's getting her hair chopped off to donate to the Little Princess Trust so that a wig can be made out of it. And she wants to raise some money as well. So 400 quid's the target. We do have the replay loaded now, so we'll pause that in a second and we'll get right back to it. So yeah, if there's anything you can give, please do just that. Massively appreciated by Helen, no doubt, and Evelyn. So we've got the replay now, so we'll jump straight into race 2, the feature race. This is 40 minutes. This one's going to be a little bit more effort, boys. Bit more to this one. What I'm actually going to do, if you don't mind, I'm just going to go and grab a drink real quick because I've not got one. So I'm just going to turn my webcam off. I'm going to go and get a drink. I'll be right back. Can I leave you with anything fun? Not really. I'm going to leave you with Evelyn's big shot. Give me just a sec. Back in a mo. Okay, we're back. Right, Lo-Fi Girl can go away. Let's get you over to. Let's get you over to the replay. There we go. Right, so feature race, 40 minutes strategy. I'm gonna have to redo my intro thing, I guess. So this one is, I guess essentially. Let me just move this a sec. Give me one more. Do that, do that. Perfect. Right, we've got the overlay sorted. Bobby's going to make me an overlay, by the way. I think he was on about it, so I'll wait for that, Bob. 40 minutes. Pit stops needed. The drivers, as you can see, they're on different tyres. Most of them, in fact, every single driver apart from Toby is running the medium tyre to start with. So that means that when Toby pits, he's got to take the medium on board. And everyone else will be able to go onto the soft. So Toby really needs to make this stint one count. If Visho can do a Max Verstappen on it, a Lewis Hamilton on Max Verstappen thing, and get in front of him and hold him up, then that'll play the strategy game. But let's get on. Let's see what they decide to do. Again, watch for Tommy Concrete, Dark Clark starts, watch for V-Show starts. Those cars will absolutely fly off the line. Revs rise, we're ready to go racing here in Brazil. Everyone gets away well. Fabuki I think is a very impressive start, but it's Tommy Concrete that's the early mover then. As V-Show is ahead of Toby then down into turn 1. Toby's going to want to get that place back ASAP, Rocky. But you've got the two Citroens now of Tommy Concrete and Dark Clark all over them like a fat kid in a cupcake. And V-Show really needs to start moving. He's going to have Toby on those fresh soft tyres wanting to get past as soon as possible. It's Hirocom then 5th at the moment, Fabuki 6th. Hirocom with a decent start in the Lexus. Toby is ahead of V-Show, but V-Show makes that move back again. It's going to open the door for Tommy Concrete. And Toby unfortunately has lost 2 positions there. Then it's Dark Clark fighting away with Hirocom in the background. You got P1 Don also looking up the inside of Richie. Dark Clark then just about holding off Fabuki. He was on the attack against Hirocom, but suddenly had to switch that into a defensive mode. And don't forget, every driver on here apart from Toby is running the medium compound tyre, so their race at the moment is one of fuel and attrition. So just making sure they're still there when the pit stop phase happens, really. It is a genuine just race for position at the moment, aside unless you're GTP Toby, and you just need to be moving. You just need to be getting on with this quick time. Of course, that McLaren quite decent in a straight line. It should have the Citroen licked for pace, to be fair. I'm going to expect an absolute send here from Toby down the inside, but you can bet V-Show or Tommy Concrete will occupy that space of the track. There is a gap there for Toby to slide his McLaren into, and it's he just about gets it stopped on time. I think he gets V-Show. Tommy Concrete might well fight this one all the way, but yeah, that's a lovely move by Toby, to be fair. Just good car positioning, that's all that really is. So let's have another look at that. So yeah, gets the car gets it stopped in time. Maybe a little bit of a nudge on Tommy Concrete, but no major advantage gain because that actually boosts Tommy a little bit, and just good car positioning to be on the inside. So that's Toby then up to P1. He's now got to gap the rest of the field. Just try and, in this twisty sector 2, use the soft tyres to his advantage. Then you got Hirokram up to P3. It's Tommy Concrete and Dark Clark. These two will need to work together then as a team. The Citroen's not the most powerful in Group 4 format, but those two certainly two very capable drivers. Then you've got Fabuki and Bobby with Richie in P8, P1 Don 9th, Mental Nev 10th. You've got Shellshock 11th, Infinity Graphics and James Harben 12th and 13th. But the big loser out of all that's been LFC Fan. What on earth happened to him? He was down there near the start, unfortunately, so he's massively lost out somewhere. As Toby then indeed is leading the pack away. I dare say V-Show a bit too far back for a send, even by his standards. That's a bit of a launch. As Hirokram's actually going to be the one that goes for a move down the inside. Unfortunately overshoots it a little bit, and V-Show able to easily defend that. Everyone else getting through safely enough. No major dramas so far, unless I have of course missed something. No major issues so far. Alright, so predictions in the chat then. What? Well, in fact, actually, what I'm asking you lot for, you know exactly what's going to happen in this one. So don't spoil it for me. Oh, that's Hirokram getting bullied. He just got absolutely bullied out of the way there by Dark Clark. He was having none of that. Dark Clark basically went, nope. Nope, nope, nope. You may not have this space. Is Fabuki going to try and take advantage of that, I wonder? Maybe. He wasn't able to in the end. Bobby's gonna need to be his rear gunner again, I think. Here, this is what Bobby's job description is gonna be: is be the Valtteri Bottas and just give rear gunner support to Hirokram at every single feasible opportunity. That's doing Bobby a bit of a disservice because he's a fast driver himself. But when you've got the likes of Fabuki, Tommy Concrete, Toby in here, you're going to need to be on your game. At the moment, Rich is the one putting the pressure on Bobby. Let's see what I mean about this train. Flip it on to you. What's my prediction? It's hard to look past this guy because he always, Tommy Concrete, and yeah, granted I've only commentated 3 races so far, but he's like a rash that never goes away. He always just comes back, and I think that Citroen, from memory, that Citroen's pretty decent on its fuel. I might be wrong. My prediction is Tommy Concrete. I'm gonna be bold. Tommy Concrete wins this one. That's my bold prediction, but we will see. I also think you're on the podium as well, Hirokram, and I reckon it's Tommy Concrete, Hirokram, and Fabuki podium. I reckon Dark Clark will get sent. Pickles for the win. Yeah. If you were in the race, mate, what happened? Where did you go? Is this where your PS4 shut off or something? See what I mean? Tommy Concrete's attacking V-Show now. In a Citroen. He's going to have to do it the hard way though. He's going to have to go around the outside. He's ahead going into the corner. But in the braking zone, the Subaru's just quite a powerful little beast there. And Tommy Concrete not able to get that move made quite yet. A little bit more fuel saved by Tommy Concrete, and that's going to matter then. So these medium tyres So we started to see the tyres were falling off towards the end of the 15-minute sprint race. The bravest ones here will pit around the 20-minute mark. Some maybe even earlier. Some that are confident they can nurse their tyres may pit a little bit sooner than that. But I reckon we'll see most pit stops about the halfway mark. Because we're getting, I mean, even in the mediums we're seeing 38s. So they're not bad. They're actually not a bad tyre. As we're just there watching Mental Nev and Richie go to war. Two very different cars. So the Subaru 4x4 does all its work in the corners. The Mercedes quite the opposite. It does all its work. Oh, well, the Group 4 doesn't really do it, to be fair. It's a terrible car. And I can say that with conviction because I've driven it. Right, so how much of a gap does Toby need for this strategy to be remotely effective? Because he's currently got a 4.5 second one. It's helping him that Tommy Concrete and V-Show are now fighting away a lot. You know, that's going to help them immensely. Dark Clark then plays the team game, just occupies V-Show's mirrors then. Hirocom's fighting his way away. The problem with Hirocom is he can't fully attack because he's got to defend as well. Fabuki, ever the opportunist, and will throw one down the inside if he can. Dark Clark sits from then. Hirocom going for the move down the inside. Little bit of contact then coming into turn 4, but everyone's survived to last another day. That one just about on the edge of okay, I think. A little rubbing his racing, as they say. See, yep, it's happened the other side there. A little bit of contact. We're alright with that, we don't mind that. Yeah, but Hirocom's going to have to do it all over again. This battle at the front still raging on then. Tommy Concrete still just managing to hold off V-Show. I think if you're a V-Show, if you're a Hirocom, you're thinking of that undercut now. How soon can you get away with pitting? You know, because you're losing time in this train. You've got to think about the undercut really. I mean, too early right now to do it. It's half an hour on a set of softs. You're gonna be dead at the end. But you know, how far do you think you can take it? Oh, Mental Nev's pit. Mental Nev is pulling the trigger early. Is it a two-stop strategy then for the Mercedes team? It's very early for the one-stop. Both Citroen and McLaren are comedy club teams, so try and work together. So at the moment then, chaps, you're fighting against this boy here and this boy here. You've got a McLaren near the back as well, which is an LFC fan who had a bit of a horrific start to the race by all accounts. So with Dark Clark turn 4, just about held it on the track. That is going to invite this boy potentially into an attack, as we do see V-Show still glued to the back of Tommy Concrete's car. Apart from when LFC takes you all out. Yeah, he does like that, doesn't he? He does like a good bowling session, does our lead. Where is he, by the way? He's 14th at the moment. So as we see Total Rose, they're going off-roading. We've got Leeds in 14th. Mental Nev. Right, so what's Mental Nev done? So he's gone for a set of softs and he's not took on any extra fuel. So I'm thinking it's a two-stop. That pit stop cost him 28 seconds or so. So 28 seconds just for tyres is quite a long stop. You've got to make that time back up. You know what I mean? It can work, but at a track like Interlagos, it's hard to make it work because you're not getting the lap time. Dark Clark though is another one that pits early. That's good news for Hirocom. That is what you want really. So we've got Fabuki, Bobby, Don, and Richie still fighting away. One of these boys has also got to be thinking about that undercut. James and Dave in the Ferraris. Probably quite content at the moment in what they're doing. Don't get me wrong, they'd absolutely love to be further up the grid, but this is the this literally is the league with the fastest drivers in it. So yeah, Leeds currently fighting away with Total Rose. Dave is exploring areas of the track. So Leeds and Total Rose are going to come across a very slow Ferrari in a second. They're going to have to make a decision as to whether they attack or not. Not quite close enough. It's a dark cloud. Then onto the soft tyres, full tank of fuel, or full enough tank of fuel. So can you make it to the end from here on fuel? I forgot to check how much fuel you used in the sprint race, but basically it was about half a tank, wasn't it? So I don't think you can make it. You're not short shifting that thing either, so brave strategy calls going on here. So these boys now on soft tyres, so you really need to be in the 37s and fast, really, don't you? Toby's on softs doing a 37.6. He's now dipping into the 38s, so he's starting to feel that tyre wear now, Toby, but he needs to stretch this stint as much as possible. We're starting to see these pit stops, so Toby's lead is 6.5 seconds. That's his advantage for being on the soft tyre. Another pit stop is happening. It's Tommy Concrete then, so the Citroen boys. So either the strategists here have pulled a masterstroke, or they're French and they've just forgotten what they're doing. On fuel, yeah, you can make it on fuel then, right? So, man, you can with fuel saving, but we're third of the way in, maybe a bit more. And you've used nearly, Toby, for example, used half a tank of fuel. I know it's a McLaren, it's a different thing. Tyres, I've driven this track plenty of times. 25 minutes on softs is ropey. Yeah, at the end of that, you're really stretching the boundaries of what that soft tyre can do. It's not going to enjoy it. Blinder of a strategy. Well, we'll see, won't we? The thing is, though, that for them, that's undercut central in it. So that's what they're doing at the moment. They are, if you look at them now, so Tommy Concrete, Dark Clark, they're just out on their own. They are lapping clean, consistent, fast laps in free air, which is massively important. They can also just manage their fuel, and you can see Tommy Concrete is short shifting now. So he's not full power. He might be in a different fuel map as well, although I find that unlikely. So yeah, he's shifting a little bit early, so that is a fuel saving technique. They will of course worked all this out prior to the race starting. 15 minutes in, this is where I'd expect now a lot of the pit stops to start happening. As we approach the 20-minute mark is where I'm thinking a lot of these medium tyre, because even the medium tyre, which holds on a lot better, we're starting to see that past its sell-by date, really. Definitely going to be a story of tyres, this one. And just how far you're willing to push a set of soft tyres is going to be the story of there. One punch man there on the side of P1. I do love the liveries that they've got on. Of course, the Group 4 cars, usually you find that they will echo the Group 3 machinery, as most of them have done. A couple of notable, say, exceptions. I do love this Gulf livery, though, that the Subaru boys are rocking. That is one of my favourites. The Lexus's graffiti almost reminds you of the Ram racing cars that we see in British GT. They always go for something a bit funky. But you know, my favourite is definitely the Subarus, but the Ferraris look brilliant as they peel into the pits. So for a barometer of where the soft tyres are, this is Toby 16-17 minutes in. He's 4-5 tenths a lap slower than he was near the start of the race now. although the tyre wear on that McLaren is relatively even. You can push it 25. You can push it 25. It's just you just at the after 20 minutes you're starting to really feel the pain. The thing for those Citroens that they're doing well and what they're doing right is they're in free air right now. LFC fan also pits. So yeah, a lot of these boys now going to the end, I think. So you see there that the advantage then, Dark Clark 37.6 for Dark Clark. I want to say that is the fastest lap of the race so far. 37.8 for Tommy Concrete. So these boys in free air are flying. Now Heracom, who hasn't yet pitted, is a couple of seconds a lap slower. So this is where the Citroen strategy will start to just ebb away a little bit at the advantage that these boys have piled on. V-Show really starting to feel the pain of those tyres. So is Heracom. Of course, these boys are banking on time saved in the pits. Heracom peels his way into second place. Toby's still out there, of course, on those soft tyres. Now has a 10-second lead over Heracom, who's now in P2. Drivers will be watching Toby. Strategy teams looking at this McLaren's tyre wear, just how far he's going to push this one. The longer he goes, the more likely it is for the French outfit there, the Citroens, the more likely it is that their one-stop will work. Strategy plays a huge role in these races, of course. It's down to who. It's not always the fastest driver. Sometimes it's just the person who gets the strategy right. Whoever it is that's car, I have no idea what that says, and I'm going to assume you're a bot. My stream tends to attract bots. Infinite Graphics then with a year's worth of penalties. Mental Nev, we do feel, is probably the only two-stopper out there. He didn't take on any fuel at his pit stop, so he's now he's quite adrift. He's quite a way adrift of the top boys. That Mercedes though is terrible. Two Citroen blokes. Yeah, so we're starting to see. And I'm really surprised none of these have pulled that undercut just yet. Fabuki is going to do that, so Fabuki into the pits. 44 litres of fuel on board that car. Richie then looked for a move on Don. Camera cut away just at the wrong time, but these two have been glued together as well, so maybe that's one of the undercuts that I was thinking of. Shell Shock, 7th for him, kind of out on his own, just running his race. Backed up by Total Rose. Having a good race so far. New fastest lap of the race then by Tommy Concrete, 37.6 for him. So where will Fabuki come out relative to these boys? Fabuki coming out now, so Fabuki is going to come out ahead of James, yeah. So Fabuki's out in 13th, so he's what? 6 seconds behind Dark Clark at the moment, but he's going to have fresher tyres towards the end of the race, so that might be something to watch out for. Where were Tommy and they were like 4th, weren't they? You know, 3rd and 4th, I want to say. There we go. Lexuses are starting to come out, so the Lexus crew in the pits. They're going to double stack those Lexuses. Subaru of Rich is in as well. Heracom's done a decent job on his fuel, 41 kilos on board that car, so he won't have to put as much in. I dare say he overfueled last time as well. Hopefully he's learned his lesson and doesn't do that this time. So we're cycling through these pit stops. I expect it to be a little bit up and down at the moment. in terms of where cars are until it's sorted itself out. So here I come then in the pits. New tyres, a splash of fuel. Doesn't need as much, of course. Did a decent job on fuel saving in that first stint. Yeah, so 20 minutes, just over. Yeah, that's enough. Bobby's actually gone a little bit more conservative on fuel. He's put the most in. Toby's still out there now, lapping in the 38s. We're still lapping in the 38s, so that's actually quite impressive. Pulling away from V-Show. I dare say he's... if you look at those tyres, look, and this McLaren's not bad on its tyres either. It certainly doesn't chew through them like some of the other cars do. I'm looking at you, Subaru. Stays out. His gap now is 12.5 seconds. That will grow and will continue to grow as well. V-Show probably will pit this lap. So will Don. Alright. Now they of course have done the longest time on the medium tyres, but they will have the freshest softs at the end. So Don's carrying on for another lap. Shell Shock, he will... yeah. Had more fuel than yeah, you had yeah, you did a good job on your fuel. So that will have saved you a little bit of time in the pit stops. We've still got some cars out there that haven't pitted yet. The two Citroens are starting to catch up to the cars that haven't pitted yet. So even though they've stopped, they're going that fast. They are catching cars that have pitted already, that haven't pitted. Sorry. And Mental Nev did pit earlier on in the race, but Infinity Graphics is the last car to have not pitted. And Tommy Concrete on the same little stretch of tarmac as him, and he has pitted already. So we're starting to see this all unfold a little bit now. Bobby's come out just ahead of Richie. V-Show comes out the pits. He was second, by the way. Now this is I feel bad for him because, like, yeah, he was running second, third for most of it, and he's dropped right down to 13th now. Of course, there are some cars ahead that haven't pitted. Of course, the top 4 haven't pitted yet. Well, the top 6 have to pit again, basically, is what we're saying. Tommy Concrete easily gets past Infinity Graphics, and he's now starting to catch up to cars. There's Toby pit. So what was his lead? 17 seconds then at the pit. So Toby will come out. We really need to see where he comes out in relation to this bloke here. So this is the guy I'm backing for the race win. I do think the Citroen might have pulled a blinder. The problem is at the end of the race they're going to be sitting ducks, but track position is 9/10 of the battle sometimes. Right, so where's Tommy in relation to... So there he is. There's the McLaren. Does Tommy Concrete come out ahead? He does. He does come out ahead then. So he has got track position. He's got the softer tyres. And Toby then with the medium strapped onto that McLaren now. He's just going to be inundated with cars trying to get past him. So Dark Light, Hirakram, Fabuki, Bobby, they're all going to be trying to catch up with... I was Richie going for a full send. V-Show now up to 11th. There's a lot of these pit stops cycle through, but he does have the freshest tyres, so he can go balls to the wall on these tyres now. Doesn't have to fuel save, doesn't have to tyre save, might be a mover and shaker. Yeah, still some cars to pit, of course, so we'll get V-Show back in the top 10. Don really stretching this medium stint. So he's going to have... Why is he going so long on mediums? Shell Shock burning that penalty away. He's going to come in now. I dare say Total Rose will do the same. That's perfect. That's worked out perfectly for Tommy. But they've got out of his way just as he was catching them. So yeah, P2 now for Tommy on the road. worked out quite nicely. Toby, can he attack? Or is he just going to be defending then to Dark Clark and Hirokram and everybody else? Hirokram now takes the fastest lap of the race at 37.1. So fastest man on circuit is Mr. Bamford at the moment. Can he do anything about these Citroens? He's got fresher tyres. He's got to do a bit of fuel saving, of course. But with fresher tyres and arguably a bit of a better car, although Interlagos is the great equaliser of all things. It's all been about this strategy, really. It's being in the right place at the right time to make the right call. P1 Don just carrying on. He just wants to do a sprint race on his softs, doesn't he? Either that or he knows just how bad this Chevrolet is going to be on those soft tyres. Absolutely will chew through them. Tommy's job then really is going to be hoping Toby can hold people up, I guess. So we heard earlier that the Citroens and McLarens do like to work together. So for Hirokram to get up there, he's got to get past basically 3 teammates. P1 Don finally pit. So that's going to give Tommy Concrete the lead of the race. Toby P2, now that all the stops have cycled through. Dark Clark third, but you fear not for much longer. Is Hirokram. I thought he'd got that move made into T1 then, but no, Dark Clark about held that one off. Hirokram's going to have to do this the hard way then, around the outside of turn 4. Never an easy place to be. Who's got the largest testicles on the brakes? And they both have equal sized testicles on the brakes as Hirokram's just about keeps it on track. Going to have to bring that battle and set a move up for the tight and twisty section then. So make your man go slower through here, get the cut back in to the inside, get late on the brakes, hook the apex up, get the move made down the inside. That move was made then at turn 4 for Hirokram. And he started setting that one up a few corners ago and finally gets it done up to P3 then. He can get chasing after Toby. The gap, of course, between second and third, only 3 seconds, so not a massive gap between them. Hirokram just needs to start escaping Dark Clark. Tommy Concrete starting to pull away from Toby. Toby will be losing ground then to Hirokram. If Hirokram and Dark Clark don't fight too much, they can both get Toby here. Just under 10 minutes of this one to go. Time's flown in this one, honestly it has. It's been pretty gripping. I've got Bobby in the other Lexus as well now, trying to escape the clutches of Richie. Not quite got the slipstream of Fabuki to help him in his quest either. That's the problem he's got. V-Show all by himself in P8. P1 Don now after his pit stop. 9th place, but the freshest tyres in the world. And he can go full attack dog mode now. James Harbin leading this little contingent. P10 with LFC Fan in 11th. Shellshock 12th at the moment, of course, with Total Rose 13th place with Mental Nev having pitted again. P14. Let's see where that Mercedes can get up to. And then Infinity Graphics P15. That's what we've all wanted to see, is where Hirokram can get. He's not managing to close up on Toby much so far. Tommy's tyres aren't looking bad, but he's got another 9 minutes to do on him yet. And they're going to start getting a bit ropey on him. They're already losing him a bit of time, but not a lot. He's still lapping faster than Toby. Hirokram's last lap was a 38.8. That's because he was fighting. 37.6 for Hirokram. So he went about 8 tenths faster than Tommy Concrete that time around. Has he got enough time? Has he got enough time to get him 8 minutes remaining? It's not a massive gap, as you can see. You can see the Citroen there, just approaching turn 4 now. It's going to be a tall order for Hirocom to catch him, I'm going to be honest. And I rate Hirocom as one of the best drivers I've seen on GT Sport. It's going to be a tall order to get him. It's still Bobby fighting Richie. This battle has been going on for quite some time. LFC fan has got his way past James Harbin. Shellshock's going to try and make it happen as well. All over the place there was a Dodge Viper. It does sound nice, this Dodge Viper, to be fair. It's got a nice little rumble to it. And you got the screaming Ferrari. James Harbin then trying to make his way past LFC fan. All's fair at the moment. Shellshock holds that 11th place. James has lost out quite badly there. Total Rose now comes under pressure from Mental Nev. The Mercedes on fresh soft tyres will be an absolute rocket. Keeping an eye on the track map up front as well to see if I can see anything going off. It does look like that Bobby and Richie fight is still rumbling on. But we just want to see if Mental Nev does go for the move down the inside here at turn 1. It looks like that's what he's setting up for. Total Rose doesn't look like he's going to put up too much of a fight against that one. Mental Nev chooses not to. That Mercedes is, by the way, awful brakes. It is like steering a cruise liner. That thing is terrible. So Bobby's escaped Richie a tiny bit, and he's gaining on Fubuki. Similar tyres and fuel between all of them, so this is pure on-track pace. I would argue the Group 4 Chevrolet is not the strongest car. It's a bit lopey at the front. It doesn't quite want to ever turn the corners the way you want it to. That gap visibly then between Toby and Hirocom that was 2 point something seconds, now just a couple attempts. We've got just 5 minutes of this one remaining. Tommy Concrete, of course, still pulling away. What was his 38.4 last time? Hirocom still lapping quicker, by the way, but it's just time to get past. And Toby's not going to make this pass easy for Hirocom. He's not going to roll over and let him have it, I don't think. Why would you, you know? So looking back then, yeah, Toby going defensive. Hirocom might try and get the cutback again. He might do what he did last time as he takes the Max Verstappen line there through turn 4. Hirocom likes to set moves up early, so he's weaving around to put Toby off right now. Ideally, what he wants to make Toby do is go slow through a corner where he can take advantage on the exit. That's probably the way he's going to get this done, so all be in the slipstream for turn 1 and just send it down the inside that way. What he doesn't want to happen is let Dark Clark catch up. I know Dark Clark's probably on old, yeah, his tyres are knackered now. The Citroen's tyres are absolutely goosed. But while Toby is doing this, while Toby is doing this for them, I will take this time, by the way, to say I predicted Tommy Concrete was going to win. I also predicted Hirocom would get on the podium. The only one I've been wrong about so far is Fubuki. Oh, Dark Clark's bent it, and Fubuki actually might not be a million miles away from that podium after all. What happened to Dark Clark? Is this just tight? His tyres, look, they just don't want to grip. They just don't want to grip at this point in the day. If you're Fubuki, a little bit of poo just came flying out then, didn't it? Where is Fubuki? Well, this is the view Fubuki had of that one. So watch Dark Clark up ahead, loses the back end on the AstroTurf, goes out of his vision. Hi there. And then suddenly, yeah. Oh, he's lost out, Fubuki. He's lost out to these two. Oh, what a shame. What happened? He just got sent, didn't he, into turn one. So back with the live action then. It's still Tommy Concrete leading the way. So then it's Toby P2, Hirokram third, running out of time, it has to be said, to get the McLaren. Bobby, fourth place for Bobby at the moment. Richie defending for all his might against Fubuki, who wants that. Who wants to get back up there. Then it's Visho seventh, Don eighth. You got Dark Clark ninth after his horror spin. Shellshock 10th with LFC Fan 11th. James Harbin still there in 12th. Mental Nev 13th. Got past Total Rose in the end, 14th. And Infinity Graphics 15th place. Yeah, tyres. It's that AstroTurf, bud. That tyres had nothing. You were just understeering wide, weren't you? Just all the way. Potential penultimate lap then for these chaps. As Hirokram's finding it really hard to get past that McLaren, even with a tyre advantage. Granted, Hirokram's tyres, but Toby's got more fuel, so Toby can just rag the nuts off this thing now. Hirokram's got the inside line for turn 4. He's just about got some bodywork in the way. Bit of rubbing his race in between these boys, but I'm sure we don't mind that. Will Toby come straight back at Hirokram then? Hirokram's going to have one more lap after this to get Tommy Concrete, but the gap's 2 seconds. It's going to be hard. Tommy's going to have to really make a mistake, which we've seen happen. It has happened. It's not beyond the realms of possibility, but also not likely, has to be said. Fubuki has got past Richie then. Bobby's got some serious fuel saving to do. Mind you, actually, he might not get over the finish line. It might just be, I reckon it's going to be pretty close as Toby sends it into the final corner. He really is playing that team game. I don't think these boys are going to make it across. I think Tommy will. I think Tommy's going to make it. No, in fact, even he's not going to make it. So Tommy Concrete then wins the race. It's going to be a drag race between Toby and Hirokram. And as close as anything, Toby just about wins out. I need to go back and watch that. So this is the send of the season then from Toby. That does give Hirokram a bit of a nudge onto the grass, but again, we're alright. Toby was ahead at that point. I don't know how we'll see that. Obviously, stewards' enquiries, etc., can be lodged, but it's literally neck and neck. This is Hirokram's view. Just by a fraction. If we look, what's the gap between those two? It's 4 hundredths of a second. Between Hirokram and Toby at the line. It's going to be Bobby, Fubuki, Richie, 4th, 5th, 6th respectively. Visho coming home 7th. He won't be too disappointed with that, I don't think. P1 done 8th place for him. Dark Clark 9th after his horror spin. Shellshot's going to grab a P10 ahead of LFC Fan. Managed to hold him up in the end. Then James Harbin just getting rid of a penalty. Might lose out to Mental Nev. No, he doesn't. Mental Nev, Total Rose 14th, and then Infinity Graphics comes home in P15. I was annoyed at the time, but just after watching the replay, it was just about okay. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it, mate? Like, I am massively guilty. I'm massively guilty of instinctively reacting to incidents and stuff that happen. You know, I do it. I'm just as bad for it. Right, so you know what's coming. You know by now. we've got Lo-Fi Girl. Lo-Fi Girl's in the house. Right. Let's have a look at some standings. See where we're at. So this is these are the results from Interlagos alone. So when you account the sprint race and the main race together, it's Tommy Concrete that comes out on top. In fact, no, it's not, because they haven't sorted those points. It's Toby that comes out on top by a point. Tommy Concrete in P2 then, up to 32 points haul. Hiracron 31 points taken away from this one. Couple of drivers on 21 points. And then that leaves the overall standings after Interlagos. We've got Hiracron now, 180 points to his name. 6 points behind him is Tommy Concrete in the Citroen, and then Chevrolet. Top 4, all different manufacturers. Fabuki's lost out 2 positions there. He will of course be looking to get that back or top list next week, which is in the Group 3s, and we go to Nürburgring Nordschleife in the Group 4s. That one's going to be fun. Tokyo Expressway in the Group 3s, then Fuji in the Group 4s, then Catalonia in the Group 3s, then Mount Panorama to round us off in the Group 4 machinery. So tune in next week, of course, for more shenanigans. There's your standings as they are. I want some kudos for predicting that Tommy Concrete was going to win that. I want my kudos, boys. I think I did all right with that. Team Lexus, of course, do it. I don't have team standings. I ain't got them. Or is that what this is? Ah, that's what this is. Right, okay, I understand it now. Ah, right, okay. So, yeah, your driver's points. There they are. So, yeah, here come you leading the Drivers' Championship by 1 point, but Lexus are taking a leap forward then. Lexus beating Citroen then by 6 points. Chevrolet bringing in P3. And then a massive yawning chasm back to McLaren, who are just 1 point ahead of Subaru, Dodge, Mercedes, and then Ferrari bringing up the rear. But still close. But we are only a couple of races in, so early doors yet. Of course, do tune in next week for the next race, which is Autopolis and the Group 3 machinery. Probably about the same sort of time next week. I tend not to stream Wednesdays, just because the Team Oliver Racing League streams that night. A, it's going to take a lot of viewers away. B, a lot of you boys may drive in that one. Thursday's just a night where there's not always a lot going on, so it's a good night for me to stream. Cheers, Clarky. Cheers, Mark. Cheers, Dave. Hopefully your equipment is fixed for next week, mate, and you can make it. So your Mercedes will work well at Autopolis. Last little shout out then for Evelyn's Big Chop. I'll stick a link to this in the description of the video. If you're able to go and contribute, we would massively appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gents. Thanks once again, and I'll see you all next week. Until then, have a good time, enjoy your weekend. See you later.